Pledge of Allegiance led by Victor Osher, VFW 6477.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time here to be in this council's chamber to make decisions, dear God, for this community. We thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for your guidance, dear God. Help us to make the right decisions for you, dear God. We know that you're a God of order, balance, and harmony, and help us to seek to bring this to this community, dear God. In all that we do and the decisions made. We ask especially now that you be with this community in Sutherland, Texas, dear God, where this tragedy occurred. We ask for your hand of grace on them and comfort them in the only way that you can. We also ask for your blessings over this community and that you bless us and put a hand of watch care over us in everything we do. We thank you for all that you do for this community and everything that's good is happening. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Mrs. Kirby.
Councilwoman Horton. Here. Councilman Crocker.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
Councilman Black. Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Here.
And Mayor DeGarris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Disclosure of interest. Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or with any matter discussed at a previous meeting. Seeing none, move on to citizens' input. Each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, thank each of you council people for serving in a capacity that certainly doesn't get the recognition that it needs. I do think we have an existing situation here in the council that one or more of the council members may have a conflict of interest regarding the location of new City Hall. It's an unpopular decision to spend about $8 million on an old doctor's office building that wasn't designed for City Hall. The building in question was built about 25 years ago as a multi-owner condominium complex. Over half of the offices are now vacant, and many doctors have moved to new offices. One of the current owners is a bank that acquired most of the building, or a big portion of the building, by loan default. And the bank is certainly anxious to sell this building, to sell its interest into the building. It's also well understood that several of the doctors have moved out of the building and they would like to sell their interest. One of the council members who carries the insurance on the building and has for a number of years. And it's a well-established principle that insurance companies don't like to insure empty buildings. And this building certainly is at least partially vacant. It's just possible that this council person may be working more for the interest of their paid job than they are for the interest of the city. Other council members may have strong ties because of working for loan companies or in the medical field. Other council members, or I believe this should be resolved before any further action is taken on this question. And I guess the question that I have tonight is, how do I make this a formal something that will get a decision? Is whether or not a conflict of interest. Is that something that I go to the state attorney general, the state auditor?
Mr. Chrisman, as we've discussed before, I do not have a conflict of interest. I have no vested interest in that building. There is no reason. I've checked with attorney, our city attorney, another attorney. There is absolutely no conflict of interest. You've discussed this with me more than once, but apparently my answer is not satisfactory to you.
Your answer is not satisfactory to me. So do I take it to the attorney general or the state auditor?
Mr. Chrisman, you do whatever you want.
Thank you. I do have a couple other questions, and these are a little more general in nature. But what is the best guess of the budget for the current year? Are we going to be dipping into the reserves again, or do we know?
We don't have that information yet.
Well, I mean, we have a $238,000 deficit budgeted this year in general fund. I'm actually hoping it comes in better than that by the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
Don't know that for sure, though. We'll just have to see. But
Okay, very, very good. Thank you, Mark. And next year, would it be a balanced budget? Would that be your expectation at this point in time?
I'm currently working on the budget, so really can't answer that. That would be my goal, but I just don't know. I mean, sales tax is kind of flat this year, and that's our main source of revenue, so.
Thank you. And one other question, it has been rumored that a significant amount of money was spent to pursue a legal action a number of years ago, and without positive results. And I'd like to know, and do I need to make a Freedom of Information request here to find out how much has been paid on outside legal fees and defending lawsuits where the city may be the defendant on personnel matters? Where do I get that information?
I guess you can make a sunshine request for it through the city clerk's office.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what we can give you. In fact, if it's a pending lawsuit, there's probably not much of anything we can give you, but yeah, I'd say make a sunshine request.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If you would, sir, give your name and address, please.
My name's Jason Norm, otherwise known as Tattoo Ozzy, owner of Tattitude Studios here in town. Mayor, council members, I'm here today to talk to you about section 640-090A, which states no person shall knowingly tattoo a person under the age of 18 years. We're asking for an amendment to that law to make it more in line with what the state recommendation is, which briefly states that no person under the age of 18 shall be, no person shall knowingly tattoo, body pierce, or brand any person under the age of 18 without the express written consent of their parents, which falls in line with what's currently being practiced in the county, and it also falls in line with what our current body piercing procedure is.
Okay, I guess we just have to research that and discuss it.
I have a copy of the state statutes under the Division of Professional Registration with me. I have a copy of the current city ordinance. Most of the time, what we found in other businesses similar to ours, they're within mere feet of the city limit sign, tattooing on minors. We're not trying to target minors. We're just given the opportunity, if, say they go to somebody's house, get a bad tattoo, we have the right to fix it with their parental consent. That's the pretty much when we do body piercings under that kind of statute, we require 3 different forms of identification. We require a minor's identification, a parent's identification, and a minor's birth certificate to prove the parent is actually the parent on the giving the consent to the piercing. And if they don't have any of the 3 of them documents, then we don't do the procedure.
Okay, we'll still need to
Sure.
do some research and discuss it some.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing
What's your, I didn't get your address, sir.
My address is 707 West Pine. Good evening to you all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For none others, we'll move on to workshop items for discussion. Item A, the city council discussed the selection of an insurance broker. Mr. Massingham?
Yes, first I'll kind of give you a little history of what we used to do on insurance. Years ago, we used to advertise for bids for insurance. We would have 3 or 4 agents or brokers in town that would bid on the insurance, and they would all be at the bid opening, and they would all mainly have the exact same insurance bids from the exact same companies. The way those companies did was they paid a commission fee directly to the broker. About 12 years ago, when Mr. Bagby came over as city manager, and a lot of cities have started doing requests for qualifications about 12 years ago, instead of just advertising for bids. So we would advertise for requests for qualifications, and we would select a broker. The broker would go out and shop the insurance market, and normally it would be about a 3-year contract with that broker. When Mr. Kaplan came in back in 2014, we advertised for bids with pricing. The brokers came in with the pricing they would charge. This year, which is the end of the 3 years, we decided that it'd be better to just request qualifications from the brokers. We received 3 of those. One of them was from Arthur J. Gallagher and Company in St. Louis, Morris Harwell Giles here in Poplar Bluff, and Sterling Insurance here in Poplar Bluff. Staff and I reviewed the proposals, and of course they're all good qualified companies, but we are recommending to go with Sterling Insurance here in Poplar Bluff to service our account, and this is not for health insurance, this is for property, casualty, liability, and workers' compensation insurance.
It just seemed to me when I was looking at the package, get this closer to me, the Gallagher company looked like they had a lot of expertise in the state of Missouri, plus in their packet, they put in there situations where they would help us out in safety, ergonomics, and things like that nature that would reduce workers' compensation claims. For me personally, I think we need to really look at that company to see if it would fit our needs, because they're well-known out throughout the state of Missouri, and give the local insurance companies, if they have such a program for the ergonomics and safety and everything, to let them provide that information to us before we move forward with this.
And I think years ago we actually had, back then it was called Gallagher Bassett, I think, Insurance out of St. Louis, and I mean, they were a huge company, and we really didn't have much personal service, and that seemed to cause us problems. And that was really part of our reason to stay with a smaller local company. But, you know, like I said, that's what we're recommending. But
I know we had several safety meetings, and I think we had to have one every month with our employees when I was still working for the city, and I think that was some of our local firms that did that.
and we still do. We still have safety meetings. And
There's no further discussion. To entertain a motion and second to move this to the voting session to be held November 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Moving on to action required items. Bill number 8033. The City Council take action on an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement for farmland for property at the Poplar Bluff Airport.
How does this work with Mark out here?
We'll have Ms. Kirby over here.
She works? Okay. Move for first reading of bill number 8033 by caption only.
Second.
Motion second for first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mrs. Kirby?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to enter into a lease agreement with Michael L. Nelson for property adjacent to the Poplar Bluff Municipal Airport.
Move for second reading of bill number 8033 by caption only.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mrs. Kirby?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to enter into a lease agreement with Michael L. Nelson for property adjacent to the Poplar Bluff Municipal Airport.
Move for adoption of bill number 8033.
Second.
Motion second to adopt. Any questions or comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Crocker,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
We have 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 8033 passed. Bill number 8034, the City Council will take action on an ordinance approving a request to rezone property from RS1 Rural Residential to RS2 General Residential to C2 General Commercial for continued and future commercial use and development of property located at 3211 North Westwood for property owned by Larry Hillis Dodge.
I'll move for first reading and caption only of Bill 8034.
Second.
Motion second, first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mrs. Kirby?
An ordinance rezoning property located at 3211 North Westwood Boulevard from RS1 Rural Area Residential and RS2 General Residential to C2 General Commercial for continued and future commercial use and development.
Move for second reading of bill number 8034 by caption only.
Second.
Motion second for second reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mrs. Kirby?
An ordinance rezoning property located at 3211 North Westwood Boulevard from RS1 Rural Area Residential and RS2 General Residential to C2 General Commercial for continued and future commercial use and development.
Move for adoption of Bill 8034.
Second.
Motion second to adopt. Any questions or comments? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Crocker,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
With 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Bill number 8034 is passed. Resolution number 1865, the City Council will take action on a resolution with respect to the annexation of a certain unincorporated area of the City of Poplar Bluff, such property being located at 2848 Canal Boulevard and owned by Larry and Jan Rommel.
Move for the reading of resolution number 1865 in caption only.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion second for the reading of the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mrs. Kirby?
A resolution with respect to the annexation of a certain unincorporated area to the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, such property being located at 2848 Canal Boulevard and owned by Larry and Jan Rommel.
Move for adoption of resolution number 1865.
Second.
Motion second to adopt. Any questions or comments?
Got one question. Mr. Abbey, can you step up here, please? It's just for clarity. Where is this located again? I know it's right there,
Immediately
Canal
east.
Boulevard, but it's not the building where Rommel is right now, is it?
No, it's not the house that he owned and lived in, because that's been taken out for Shelby expansion. Immediately to the east of the Shelby right-of-way, his auto sales shop, that's what we're rezoning, and that's what he's going to retain as.
He's going to retain that.
Yes, he
and then
is.
that stoplight's going to go a little bit catty corner around.
Yes,
Is that
it
correct?
is. It's going to curve around it. And
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions? Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Crocker,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
With 6 yes votes.
Thank you. City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff will meet in a closed meeting in which they will discuss such matters which are exempt under the Opens Meeting Law, Section 610.021.1, .2, .3, .9, .11, .12, .13, and .14 in revised statutes of Missouri.
I make a motion, we move into closed session after the city manager's report.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, Mrs. Kirby?
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Crocker,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mayor DeGaris.
Yes.
With 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Mr. Massingham?
Just kind of an update on Shelby Road. We made our first payment for work done this last week. As you know, they've been going gangbusters on that project until the rain hit last week, kind of slowed them down. But I just wanted to let you all know and let the public know that Roxy Road is still closed to through traffic. They've had a lot of the huge dump trucks going back and forth, and it's mainly for safety reasons. They have assured me that as soon as they can get that open back up, they will. Haven't really had many complaints and haven't had any problems yet, but that's really all I have tonight.
Notice those new stop signs, I think those are a great idea, and they've got the little sign ahead that says stop sign ahead, but they're still running it like crazy.
We had we had several complaints on that intersection, and actually, I think they started complaining about it a couple of years ago, and MoDOT came in and did a traffic study for us right there on Maud Street, which amazed me, was traffic count of 4,200 vehicles a day. And you know, I think it's just going to increase with Shelby Road going in there. So yeah, we did decide to put stop signs up at the intersection. Then we put the stop ahead signs up, but I have noticed they're slowly getting used to it. And I know the police department's been monitoring. I've seen them sitting off to the side, but
So that's kind of funny.
I stopped at one today, it's just there, no traffic, just stopped at the stop sign.
Or they put like a flashing light, like they have some on the street markers, or something, a little flashing yellow light, or something else to get their
May have
attention.
to.
Might be a race to see which one gets figured out first, the roundabout or the stop sign for the stop sign.
I was just amazed. I had no idea there was that much traffic through that street.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have guessed it, because I'm one of those, however many thousands that you said.
I got one thing. Is it Thursday night? I think it is. The Boys and Girls Club has their steak and burger
Yes, it is.
thing. So if everybody can hopefully go there and have a good time. It always is a good time, and it supports a good cause. Hurricane Keel's going to be the speaker this year, so.
Do they have something for the veterans on Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Veterans Day.
They usually have something at 11:11.
Yeah, you
There's
got
something this
different things
weekend.
at different places.
Yeah.
There will be something at the memorial wall, so.
And Veterans Day is a holiday for our employees, which it falls on a Saturday, so we'll be shut down on Friday. So.
And I'm a veteran, and I have to work.
We appreciate
Does the
it.
same
We're
thing.
closing on Monday, so our veterans can do
It's okay. I love my job.
Nothing else? We'll
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn the regular meeting.
Well, thank you for your service anyway.